Hello everyone, a very pleasant day to you. Vice President Shettima vows security boosts for Borno bomb blast survivors. Senate President Akpabio expresses optimism of winning banditry, urges Nigerians to work collectively towards peaceful, equitable nation. Plus, Nigerian Army debunks viral social media advertisement of availability of direct short service course 29 application forms. A very good day to you and welcome to Impact News Hour on First News Port. I am Becky. Also, another news in full. Vice President Kashim Shettima and Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umara Zulum have paid a visit to victims of bomb blasts at a mosque in Maiduguri, who are currently receiving treatment at the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital, UMTH. The visit was to sympathize with those injured in the devastating explosion that targeted a mosque in Gamburu Market. The attack, which was believed to have been carried out by Boko Haram insurgents, resulted in multiple casualties and injuries. At the hospital, speaking to newsmen, Vice President Shettima, who was accompanied by Governor Zulum, consoled the victims and reiterated the President Bola Tinubu administration commitment to ending the threat of terrorism and restoring lasting peace in the country. He added the governor of Borno has been up and doing, working round the clock to complement the efforts of the federal government and appreciate the efforts and investment in the security architecture by Borno state government. The delegation was briefed by the director of Muhammad Buhari Trauma Center, who reported that many of the victims were discharged, others were still responding to treatment, though one remained in critical condition. Away from that story, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has expressed optimism that banditry and other security challenges confronting the country will be defeated in 2026 and beyond, urging Nigerians to work collectively towards a more peaceful and equitable nation. Senator Akpabio called on citizens to set aside their differences, embrace peace, and foster unity within their families, states, and the country at large, stressing the national development can only thrive in an atmosphere of peace. He made the appeal during a prayer and fasting service organized in honor of the Akpabio family at the Methodist Church Nigerian Cathedral of Unity, Ukana Ikot Utwen, in SCN Udim local government area for Akwa Ibom State. The Senate President urged Nigerians, irrespective of political affiliations, to support the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the fight against banditry and insurgency, expressing confidence that renewed collaboration with international partners would ensure the defeat of insecurity. Away from that story, the chairman of the Presidential Committee of Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, Taiwo Oyedele, says the January 1, 2026 date for the implementation of the Nigerian Tax Act and the Nigerian Tax Administration Act is sacrosanct. Oyedele disclosed this in Lagos while briefing newsmen after meeting with President Bola Tinubu. He welcomed the position of the National Assembly on the allegations about alteration. He said the federal government is ready to work with the federal lawmakers to address the concerns raised by Nigerians, including opposition figures. Away from that story, the National Assembly has announced that it is conducting an internal review of the legislative process surrounding 4 recently enacted tax laws following public commentary on their passage and publication. The laws in question are the Nigerian Tax Act 2025, the Nigerian Tax Administration Act 2025, the Joint Revenue Board of Nigerian Establishment Act 2025, and the Nigerian Revenue Service Establishment Act 2025. In a statement, the management of the National Assembly said the review would examine issues raised over harmonization of versions passed by both chambers, presidential assent, and the acts published in the official gazette. According to the statement, the exercise is being handled strictly within its constitutional and statutory mandate and is guided by the Constitution, the Act's Authentication Act, the standing orders of both chambers, and established parliamentary practice. As part of this process, the leadership has directed the Clerk of the National Assembly to work with relevant agencies to ensure publication of the acts in the official gazette and to issue certified true copies to ascertain acts on request. The National Assembly stressed that the administrative action is aimed solely at authenticating the legislative record and does not imply any defect in powers or actions of either chamber or any other arm of government, while reaffirming its commitment to constitutionalism, separation of powers and due process, stressing that any procedural refinements identified will be addressed in line with the law and parliamentary conventions. The statement enjoined the public were to refrain from speculation while the institution completes its processes, with leadership assuring continued transparency and accountability. In another development, the Nigerian Army has described a viral social media advertisements suggesting that direct short service course DSSC 29 application forms are available for 2026 as false and misleading, stating that the announcement was not authorized by the service. The statement by the acting director of the Directorate of Army Public Relations, Colonel Annalie Apollonia, says the force has not commenced any recruitment of commissioning exercise for the Direct Short Service Commission DSSC or Short Service Commission SSC. The Nigerian Army emphasizes that whenever recruitment exercises are approved to commence, the public will be duly informed through the official platforms, including the Nigerian Army website, official social media accounts, and through publications on the national dailies, along with other verified communication channels with adequate publicity. The statement urged the public to be cautioned and remain vigilant and avoid falling victim to fraudsters who use fake recruitment notices to deceive and defraud unsuspecting individuals, while stressing that the Nigerian Army does not charge any fee for recruitment into its ranks. In another development, operative attached to the Force Intelligence Department's Nigerian Police Force has recorded a significant operational breakthrough with the arrest of 2 notorious bandits and kidnapping kingpins linked to various violent crimes across Katsina, Zamfara, Niger, and Kwara states. Statement by the force spokesperson Benjamin Hundeyi says operation was carried out by the operatives of the Force Intelligence Response Team attached to Kwara State. The Nigerian Police Force recorded that one of the suspects, Abubakar Usman, alias Sidi, was recently identified as the individual seen in a viral video flaunting firearms and large sums of money on social media. During the operation, the force recovered from the suspect one brand new Honda AC, 125 motorcycle, red in color, valued at 1,850,000 naira. While investigations revealed was purchased with proceeds of ransom payments, 500,000 naira cash, being absent ransom money, one AK-47 rifle with a magazine loaded with 20 rounds of live ammunition. Preliminary investigations revealed that the suspects are members of a notorious bandit and kidnapping gang terrorism communities across Zamfara, Katsina, Niger, and Kwara states, with further findings indicating that the gang also doubled the suppliers of arms and ammunition to armed groups. The Inspector General Police Kayode Adeolu Ibetokun commended the operative involved for their professionalism and dedication and reassures Nigerians of the force's unwavering commitment to dismantling criminal networks, combating banditry and kidnapping, and ensuring the safety and security of all citizens. Up ahead on the news, Thailand, Cambodia agree ceasefire after weeks of deadly clashes, and Ukrainian President Zelensky plans to meet Trump on Sunday for talks on ending Russian war. Details after the break. Welcome back. We now move on to the foreign scene. Thailand and Cambodia has agreed to an immediate ceasefire. The defense minister of the two countries in a joint statement say both sides have agreed to freeze all troop movements and allow civilians living in border areas to return home, halting weeks of intense border clashes that have killed at least 41 people and displaced almost 1 million people. The ceasefire will take effect this afternoon. Once it is held for 72 hours, 18 Cambodian soldiers held by Thailand will also be released. The breakthrough come after Thai and Cambodian officials held several days of talks aimed at ending fresh fighting between the two countries. The statement also said that the release of the 18 Cambodian soldiers held by Thailand will be conducted in the spirit of the Kuala Lumpur Declaration, an agreement between the two countries signed at a ceremony attended by U.S. President Donald Trump in October. Both sides have since blamed each other for the breakthrough of the truce. Away from that story, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says he will meet his U.S. counterpart Donald Trump in Florida on Sunday as talks continue on ending Russia's full-scale war. President Zelensky said he wanted to focus on a U.S.-brokered peace plan and separate proposals for U.S. security guarantees. A senior Russian official said the plan was radically different to the one Russia was negotiating with the U.S. The Kremlin has not commented on the President Zelensky offer to withdraw troops from Ukraine's eastern Donbas region if Russia pulls back too. Overnight, at least 5 people were injured in the capital, Kyiv, in a fresh wave of Russian airstrikes, while another person was wounded in the Kyiv region. Kyiv Mayor Vitaly Klitschko said Ukraine's air defense forces were repelling the attack, with eyewitnesses reporting blasts in the city. The Russian attack continued on Saturday morning, with Ukraine's Air Force warning that a drone and missile threat is enforced for the entire country. And now on entertainment. The outgoing president of the Actors Guild of Nigerian AGZ, Emeka Rollas, has appealed for major dialogue and mutual respect between religious bodies and the creative industry following criticism by the Christian Association of Nigerian CAN over actress Iniedo's new film, A Very Dirty Christmas. He said a full viewing of the film showed that it did not ridicule or undermine Christianity, and that any contrary view would benefit from more comprehensive engagement with the work itself. By acknowledging Christmas as a sacred season symbolizing holiness and hope, Rollas noted that people experience it differently, and such diversity of perception does not diminish its sanctity. He also stressed that Iniedo is a practicing Christian who would not intentionally disparage her faith, and urged critics to recognize that creative works often explore real-life situations that may not always align with conventional expectations. Khan had described the film title as offensive, but Rollas said the phrase was a metaphorical and creative expression intended to reflect some of the complex human experiences associated with the festive season, rather than an insult to the Christian faith. And in sports, former Nigerian defender Ifeanyi Udeze has backed Victor Osimhen to end his African Cup of Nations goal third when the Super Eagles face Tunisia today. Udeze expressed confidence that the striker's goals will come despite his failure to score in Nigeria's opening victory over Tanzania, a match in which Osimhen missed several clear-cut chances. Osimhen has now scored once in 9 African Cup of Nations appearances across 3 editions, extending his barren run at the tournament. The Galatasaray forward, however, arrives in Morocco in strong form at club and in an international level, having scored 12 goals for Galatasaray this season and 8 for Nigeria in 2025. Odessa said Osimhen's recent struggles at the tournament were not a cause for concern. The former defender added that Osimhen was visibly frustrated after drawing a blank in the opener but expected a response against Tunisia. Both sides won their opening matches, with Tunisia beating Uganda, and victory on Saturday would secure early qualification for the round of 16. To end the news, a quick look at some of the major stories. Vice President Kashim Shettima has vowed to boost security for the Borno bomb blast survivors. Senate President Godswill Akpabio has expressed optimism of winning banditry and urged Nigerians to work collectively towards peaceful and equitable nation. We also brought to you a report that the Nigerian Army has debonged viral social media advertisement of the availability of direct short service calls 29 application forms. That's the news. Thanks for watching. I am Becky Usoro. Many thanks for watching. Bye for now.